Hello everyone, my name is Michał Idziak and I'm a product evangelist at Piwik PRO, but I'm taking the back seat today because I'm delighted to welcome our friends and partners from TAGGRS, and Lowie. Lowie, would you mind saying a few words about yourself?
Yes, of course. First of all, thank you for letting me be here today. I'm Keurentjes. I'm the head of marketing at TAGGRS, and this means that I'm responsible for all the marketing activities around TAGGRS. I work at the company for a year and a half now, and I'm happy to be here to talk about server-side tagging and how server-side tagging can be made easier with Piwik PRO and TAGGRS.
Welcome, Lowie.
Yes, hello. I'm Lowie Verschelden and I work as a tracking specialist for TAGGRS. Over the years, I've done many setups, I think maybe more than 200, and I'm happy to show you how to implement Piwik PRO server-side tagging today.
Thanks, guys. Welcome. Now, before we get to the fun stuff, let's take a look at our plan for today. So first, we're going to go over how server-side tagging works and look into the mechanics of this approach. And then we'll discuss how it's best suited for helping you understand the types of organization that tend to benefit the most from this setup. And next, we'll explore the benefits of using Piwik PRO platform for a privacy-friendly and compliant analytics approach, followed by the advantages of using TAGGRS as a solution for efficient tracking and tagging on the server side. Finally, courageous Lowie will wrap up with a quick demo to showcase just how easy it is to set up server-side tagging tracking, providing that it's simpler than it's sometimes portrayed. And I'm saying courageous because I'm not the best. I'm always quite nervous doing the live demo, and he decided to do that. Anyway, so before we dive in, I would like to open by saying that on behalf of Piwik PRO, that we are very happy to partner with TAGGRS. At Piwik PRO, we are all about ensuring data privacy, security, and putting control in our users' hands. And as our server-side tracking gains traction, especially with privacy regulations like GDPR in mind, or partnering with TAGGRS became quite clear next steps for us. TAGGRS brings both robust data control and intuitive setup process, making it easier for organizations of all sizes to adopt server-side tracking without any added complexity. But Ate will talk about it in more detail, so I hope didn't spoil anything. So this partnership allows us to offer our clients a seamless, privacy-first solution that aligns perfectly with today's regulatory and technical demands. Now, we're going to get to TAGGRS and to Piwik PRO and our platforms and how we do things. But let's explain first what is server-side tracking and tagging for those in the audience that may have not heard about the concept yet. Just briefly, and Ate, would you be so kind and try to explain the concept for us, please?
Yes, of course. So let's jump in. First things first, what is server-side tagging? Server-side tagging is an alternative to client-side tagging, the traditional method of tagging where pixels and cookies are placed directly into the user's browser. And with server-side tagging, these pixels and cookies are being placed on the server instead of the browser. And I will explain the difference using two data flows so you can better understand the contrast. So first, we're going to look at the client-side tagging, the traditional data flow. So you have your website or your app, and the user data flows from the browser to Google Tag Manager web container, and then to the software where you want to send data to, for example, to Facebook or Piwik PRO. And in this process, third-party pixels and cookies are being placed directly into the user's browser. Pretty straightforward, but this data flow has several downsides, including the risk of leaking personal identifiable information. The data stream can be blocked by certain browsers, and restrictions from data transfer laws that limit direct communication with US server. Additionally, with client-side tagging, third-party scripts are being loaded onto your website, and you have less control over what for information these scripts may be extracting from your site. So this is the regular way of tagging, lots of different risks, less control over your data, and not always compliant with GDPR regulations. Then moving on to server-side tagging, and with server-side tagging, you manage your data on your server rather than in the user's browser. So the user data flows from your website to Google Tag Manager web container, then to Google Tag Manager server container, and then to the vendors like Piwik PRO. So an extra server is incorporated. Yeah, looks pretty simple, right? Or not, Michael?
Yeah, yeah, and in principle, you definitely. Now, what would you say would be the benefits of server-side tagging?
Yeah, so we're going to look at some of the key benefits of server-side tagging, because why do you want to incorporate an extra server on your setup? There are several benefits, but I will take you through some key benefits. So the first one, and maybe the biggest benefit, you have control about your data. Previously, the data belonged to platforms like Facebook or Google, who were placing these third-party scripts on your website, and you didn't know what for information they took from your website. But now the data flows first to a server that you manage, that you have full control over, and you decide where and how your data is being processed. Of course, you must have compliance from your user. Yeah, some people think that you don't longer need a cookie banner on your website if you use server-side tagging, but that's not true. You always need consent from the user. Because the server is actually incorporated, it also means you can add or remove information that vendors don't need to see. For example, you can hide IP addresses or other sensitive information. Additionally, you can enrich the data by adding information from your CRM system using external APIs. For instance, with user consent, you can send profit margins to vendors like Google Ads, allowing your campaigns to optimize based on profit margins rather than just on revenue. Then moving on to the second benefit, server-side tagging positively impacts page speed and performance. Some of you may know that adding lots of third-party scripts to your website can make it slower. And imagine when certain scripts are being loaded on every page time and time again, and this can significantly reduce your page speed. And with server-side tagging, you load the scripts on the server instead of the browser. And running these tracking scripts server-side reduces the load on the browser, and this is resulting in faster page load times.
Yes, and I guess just want to chime in here a little. I guess it's all important not only from the user's perspective, so having the experience with our clients on the Piwik PRO side, but it also impacts the page speed, whereas page speed plays a significant role in how websites are being ranked in search engines. Now, low page speed can drop your website from search results. That's a one thing, bad side. But not to say that if someone might arrive on your website, in some cases, if the page loads for too long, people might bounce, may leave the website. So if you think about it, if you have a lot of traffic that you direct from paid traffic and the page loads for a long time, visitor might come and not convert. So you're burning money for a website that might be just not loading very fast, and therefore people are leaving and going to, say, competitors or elsewhere. Sorry, just wanted to add to that.
Yeah, no problem. Great addition to the benefit. Yeah, moving on to another benefit of server-side tagging, accurate data reports, another key benefit, because the current client-side method relies on third-party scripts, which are often being blocked by, for example, browsers like Safari. And this means you miss conversions that appear in your, for example, in your CRM, but not in your analytics, such as Piwik PRO. And with server-side tagging, data collection is managed directly on the server, moving you from third-party to first-party data collection. And this first-party data is not being blocked by this certain browser. And this shift to first-party data collection enables you to capture this valuable data, and then you can base your decisions on more complete reports. So in conclusion, in my opinion, server-side tagging is a strong step towards improving user privacy. As a website owner, you have better control over your data and can decide where to send it. And by storing the data on a local server, you have the option to ensure that it never ever has to leave the country even. And it is becoming increasingly difficult to collect third-party data. So in my opinion, it is better to move to a first-party solution. And yeah, those were some key benefits of server-side tagging. If you want more detailed information on how it works, I would suggest checking out the latest Piwik PRO webinar with Simon Hava, which dives deeper into the mechanics.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Ate. Now, if you were to narrow down some, with having your experience, if you were to narrow down some use cases, who is the server-side tagging for? If you could expand on that.
Yes, of course. Server-side tagging can be beneficial for companies operating in all industries. And I will show you 3 specific use cases for different types of businesses. But keep in mind that these examples are just a starting point, and there are many other possible use cases. Mm-hmm. So let's go to the first one, e-commerce. As many of you know, in e-commerce, accurate data collection helps improving your ad campaigns, because with accurate data, your campaigns can have better returns. Also, server-side tagging can easily anonymize key personal identifiable information, like email addresses, to protect users' privacy. And I also mentioned this earlier, but it allows businesses to send additional data such as profit margins, which can lead to better advertising, because your campaigns can focus on profit margins rather than just revenue. And because it's all managed in the server, your competitors won't be able to see your profit margins. Mm-hmm. Then moving on to the next use case, and that is for the B2B sector. In the B2B sector, companies often deal with long sales cycles, like, for example, selling cars or scooters. And with the current method client-side tagging, cookie lifetimes are being limited to sometimes just 1 day. And if you can't track those cycles, then your campaigns don't match the purchase with the campaign. And server-side tagging helps you collect these customer interactions during these cycles again, because it can extend the duration of cookies, allowing companies to track customer behavior longer, leading to better campaigns, and that all within the GDPR rules. And by using server-side tagging, you can gain more accurate data, enabling you to make better marketing decisions, because poor data quality can lead to poor choices. So accurate data is essential also for B2B companies. Then moving on to the third use case, healthcare. In healthcare, managing sensitive patient data is very important. Server-side tagging can provide more control of this data, since everything is managed on your own server. And if you're in healthcare business, you can control where the data is being sent, ensuring that sensitive information stays secure and compliant with local laws. And this helps protect your patient's privacy, and thereby you can build some more trust with your clients. And You can also choose to keep the data within your country, ensuring that sensitive information does not even has to leave the borders. Yeah, so these were in short 3 use cases of service tagging for different industries. But in general, the more data you measure, the more essential service tagging becomes. And since B2B businesses typically measure less than e-commerce platforms, service tracking often becomes more crucial for web shops.
Now, before we jump onto the next sort of section, I want to pause for a second and let our audience know that feel free to send us any sort of questions in the chat. Towards the end, we're going to have a Q&A. I forgot to mention about it in the agenda part, but you can ask your questions, and towards the end, we're going to try and answer those. Really worthwhile staying till the end. A lot of good content is actually in the Q&A session. But back to what we were planning to do. You're talking about some use cases, which is interesting. But in the audience, there might be some companies, people who probably want to know, who is it not for? So if you could steal the devil's sort of argument, who is it not for then?
Yes, of course. Yeah, not a great question, because of course service tagging is not the right option for everyone at the moment. The first one is like, yeah, if your business doesn't rely heavily on data for your marketing, the investment might be not worth it. However, for companies that spend significantly on advertising, accurate data collection can truly make a difference, especially as app platforms increasingly rely on data for their algorithms. And yeah, then the second maybe reason is reliable data is becoming increasingly more important, but also harder to obtain. And this comes with costs. And yeah, you can ask yourself, like, how much is reliable data worth to my business? And yeah, if you don't have a valid answer, you might not be ready yet to invest in service tagging. So Michael, yeah, these are 2 reasons why service tagging might not be the right choice for you just yet.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. I think that was a good answer. Now, you've been talking for quite a while, so I'm going to let you catch your breath, and I'm going to take over for a moment. Allow me. I would like to talk through some, for those who in the audience who may not be familiar still with Piwik PRO, I'm just going to want to quickly walk you through some of the benefits that Piwik PRO offers. So first of all, you'll own your data. We don't use your data to train any algorithms or for any advertising purposes. Our focus is on data privacy and data security. So that's one thing. Another thing, hosting flexibility. You can store your data on cloud, private cloud, having either dedicated database or dedicated hardware. Moreover, you can choose on data residency from different locations in Europe to locations in US and Asia. But obviously, at the end of the day, it all comes down to data quality and what you can do with it, what sort of insight you derive from your data. And our analytics provide you with the comprehensive features that you would, I would say, expect from modern analytics, which I can honestly say that our analytics is a modern analytics. And then obviously, perhaps not everyone is familiar with this, the fact that we also offer customer data platform. So what is it? You mentioned that in your part, Ate, but with the current privacy regulations paradigm, the best way to leverage data is through first-party by leveraging first-party data. So having CDP, which uses first-party data, combines data from all different sources, So having CDP in your stack is, I believe, a must-have. CDP lets you combine and activate your data so that your data works for your advantage in an automated way. It's not a place where you analyze data, it's just basically using data and automate the processes. We create workflows so your data works in an automated way. And even though we have not made a big fuss about it yet, I'm going to spill the beans a bit, and by saying that our CDP will soon be available on every Piwik PRO account, including our free version of Piwik PRO account, so-called core account. Finally, having said all that, our platform integrates well across multiple platforms, so from WordPress, GTM, Google Ads, Google Search Console, and some popular CMPs like Cookie Information, Didomi, Cookiebot, OneTrust, as well as some external data destinations such as Looker Studio, BigQuery, Amazon S3, and many more. Those are just a few logos and examples. Basically, our platform integrates quite well with your marketing stack. But enough about Piwik. Some of you may be familiar with Piwik, so you can come back to us because I would like to add it to expand on the TAGGRS. What's so specific about TAGGRS? If someone was to consider server-side tracking, tagging, what TAGGRS has to offer for such a company?
Yes, thank you. Before I dive into TAGGRS, let's take a look at what a server GTM setup looks like and some perceived downsides of server-side tagging that people might think about today. On the left, you will see the typical setup with a web container, and with server-side tagging, however, you add an additional container, the server container, which you can see on the right side of your screen. And this server needs to be hosted on a platform like TAGGRS to ensure that this data is routed through the server before reaching the vendor. And this is in simple terms how it works. But some people see some potential downsides, such as the costs, because you need to pay for server hosting. Some people say it can be complex. And there's limited insights into how much additional data you're actually capturing, because yes, of course, you want to know if it's worth the investment. That's where TAGGRS comes in. Our goal is to make the best tracking accessible to every business. And TAGGRS was founded when an agency owner realized they were missing valuable data, and server-side tagging became the solution. And at that time, documentation was limited. The biggest solution Google Cloud offered had not a friendly interface. It was hard to implement. And there was also no support. And that's where TAGGRS comes in. So let's talk about some benefits of TAGGRS. So many companies struggle to set up server-side tagging because of the technical expertise required. And TAGGRS changes this by providing all companies, regardless of size or technical expertise, with access to this high quality of tracking. And we do this, for example, with our TAGGRS template gallery. And with the TAGGRS template gallery, it gives you direct access to a collection of expert templates that you can copy and apply to your own server-side configurations. And using these preset templates simplifies the server-side setup implementation, allowing you to work more efficiently and avoid a lot of common pitfalls and configuration errors. And each template in the template gallery is developed with specific tracking needs and situation in mind, saving users not only time but also ensuring an optimal setup for their site. And whether you're a beginner in the world of server-side or you're already an experienced professional, by integrating these templates into your server-side strategy, you can rely on a solid foundation for your tracking needs. And backend by the expertise of the TAGGRS professionals. So that's one benefit. Another benefit is our server-side analytics. So we have the templates for you on how to set it up, but then you want to know if it's worth the hosting expenses. And that's where our analytics comes in. We've added some analytics and monitoring tools for deeper insights, and to ensure that everything is run smoothly. For example, you can see in the TAGGRS dashboard the additional measured data through your server-side setup per event. This way, you can see if it's worth the investment, or not. We've also added other analytics tools like purchase value measurement impacted by consent. It's a big mouthful, but this allows you to estimate how much revenue value you might have been missed for people not accepting your cookie banner. Mm-hmm. So those were two examples from our analytics, but we have a lot more. And unlike other options, TAGGRS doesn't rely on Google Cloud servers. Mm-hmm. We run entirely on our own dedicated server infrastructure, giving you 100% TAGGRS servers and 0% reliance on Google. And this independence allows us to offer a robust and streamlined experience that's both secure and reliable. And the best part is, in my opinion, also, TAGGRS is up to 5 times cheaper than Google Cloud. And this makes it even more attractive. Because this addresses the point of that many people believe server-side tagging is expensive, but that doesn't have to be the case. Why can we be cheaper than Google Cloud? You might think. This is because Google Cloud is a one-size-fits-all solution. You can do much more with it than just server-side tagging, but you pay for that too. And our server infrastructure is specifically set up for server-side tagging, and by making optimal use of this server space, we can offer server-side tagging at a fair price and make it accessible to a lot more companies. Mm-hmm. So those were some benefits of TAGGRS. What do you think, Michael?
All sounds great. Now, while the next part will be Lowie doing the demo, and while you switching the sort of screens, I can just add to a few things on top of that to our audience, that whoever is thinking that server-side tagging is server-side tracking is complicated, I can add to that TAGGRS has amazing support that is ready and happy to help. That's one thing. And another thing, you guys got really good tutorials, whether you prefer it in video format or in a written format, and just basically step-by-steps how to implement it. And it's really looks straightforward. Honestly, I was surprised when the first time look at it. It's quite straightforward, not to mention other benefits that you mentioned. I guess Lowie is already ready with his demo. So Lowie, do your magic. Fingers crossed.
Thank you, Michael.
Or no issues with the demo.
Yes. So I will show you how to manually set up the page view event for Piwik PRO server-side tagging in the first part, and in the second part we will import the templates just as Ate showed us. So we will start with making an account. I already did this to speed up the process. You will be asked some details like your main domain, so your website, you will fill in it here. The subdomain where you want to host your server GTM. We always choose for SST, server-side tracking, but you can completely choose this. And then you will have to fill in a container configuration. How do you get this code? I will show you. So let's say you have a GTM account, you have your web GTM already in there, and you will just create a new account, a new container, sorry. We'll call it Piwik video, oops, server. And then you will have this option, automatically provision tagging server, which you will choose if you go the Google Cloud way. But we go with it, we go via TAGGRS, and then you will choose manually provision tagging server, and you will get a container configuration. You will copy this code and paste it in here. That's it. Next step is you will have some, these DNS records will be displayed, and you will have to add them to your domain. You can ask this to your web developer, yes. To add it could take up to 24 hours to be validated, and then you are ready to go. Then one last step is copy your subdomain that you chose and go in your server GTM to admin, container settings, add URL, and that's it. You save it and you're done. That's how easy it is to set up a server GTM with TAGGRS. This was the first part to show you how to set up the tagging server. Now we will go over to the next part to set up Piwik PRO page view tag via server-side tracking. So I will delete this server because we have already set up our server and our web GTM to speed up the process once again. And I will show you what we already have. We have in our web GTM a Google tag, which sends a page view to our server GTM. And you can see send page view is true and has a server container URL, which is the one that we just chose. So our page view will arrive and will be sent and arrive in our server GTM. You can see that here we have a tag ID filled in, but this could as well be a dummy tag ID. This is just, you need to fill something in order for your web events to be sent to your server GTM. This will not forward it to analytics. And this is our server GTM. We also have some tags set up here. I will go in preview mode of both to show you what we already have. This is the preview mode of server container. And here we have the preview mode of our web container. So what we can see on initialization, because we have this trigger set here, our Google tag has fired and has sent a page view to our server GTM endpoint. You can see this as well here. But this page view has sent to this endpoint with all this data. You can see that this has entered our server GTM. This request has been claimed by our GA4 client and has been modeled into events data, which we can use in our server GTM. So that's what we already have. We have multiple videos about this on our TAGGRS account as well, on how to set this up. So the next step will be to set up the page view Piwik PRO tag. So we will go to tags, add a new tag. We will go to the template gallery. And we will search for Piwik PRO, this one. We give it a relevant name, page view, voila. Account name, we'll go to your Piwik PRO account and it's just everything before Piwik PRO. So here it is, demo1 TAGGRS. This one, voila. Then site or app ID, it will be this one. Voila. We can leave this on inherit from clients, so it will just forward and model the correct data for Piwik PRO to be able to interpret it correctly. and all the rest we can leave it on default as well. Then as a trigger, we will choose all pages, and we will save this one. Now I will go again in preview mode over server GTM. I will reload. You can see page view has entered our server GTM, and our Piwik PRO page view tag has successfully fired. So this page view event has been sent to Piwik PRO. And we can verify this in the tracking debugger, which might take some time. As you can see here, page view has entered our tracking debugger. So everything is working as expected. So this was the first option on how to set it up, the manual way. But with taggers, as Ate told us, we also have the easier way. Our tracking experts already made templates for all kind of CMS and plugins. So for example, we are working with WooCommerce with the GTM for WordPress plugin. So we can go to search that one. GTM for WordPress, because we have another one with the TAGGRS data layer as well. Can proceed to download it. It will be a zip file that you have to unzip, and then you have to import it to your web GTM and server GTM. It contains 2 files. And how to do this is you go to admin, import container, choose your container file. This one. And as you can see, all tags has been added. Piwik PRO, but also much more tags. The only thing left for you to do is go to variables and fill in the needed variables. Like for Piwik, it's these one, account name and app ID. So simple as that. I think I can give the word back to Michał, because this was the setup for the page view tag. Do you have any more questions about this, Michał?
No, that looks pretty straightforward, and yeah, I guess it's a. I think we're going to move on to our Q&A session. So let me check.
Yeah, maybe
if we have any.
Maybe I can add one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also mentioned, we also have a written manual, so we have both video and written manual. Just search on Google for Piwik PRO TAGGRS, and then you will find and the video and a written manual. Yeah, it's just what you prefer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. You have both. I'm a video guy. I prefer to watch the video to see video, but some people prefer to read it out. So yeah, and you've got both, so perfect. Now let's move on to our Q&A session. Let's see if we have any questions, and I can see the first one. So the question is, how much would it cost to implement TAGGRS on an e-commerce website with 25K monthly visitors? So can you give the rough estimation? It might be hard from the top of the...
That's a very specific question. Yeah, so our pricing is mostly based on the total number requests per month, and a request is a result of the events on your website, and this includes every event such as page views and purchases or scrolls. Yeah, every event. And we have a pricing calculator on our pricing page, where you can make an estimate of your price based on your website visitors. But I believe 25K visitors for a web shop, you're probably in the basic package, and this costs around 22 euros per month. but you can always start for free because we have a free forever plan, up to 10,000 requests. So yeah, I hope this answers your question.
Hopefully, and I think it's a bargain. I've got another question, so let's move on. Can you use the integration with TAGGRS in the free Piwik PRO plan? I can say honestly that yes. The answer is quite simple. So we could probably use both free plans, 10K up to 10K in TAGGRS and Piwik PRO. Have we got any more questions? Let me see. Now, if we would like to use API integration for Facebook ads for a purchase goal from a landing page, how would that be done by Piwik PRO, as we don't have a direct IP option like Google Ads in Piwik PRO?
Yeah, Lowie, do you know this question?
Yes, I'm rereading it once again. If you would like to use API integration.
Or do you know, Michael?
Now, if you want to, now via API, I'm not sure how that be, but if you want to export goals, I would like to use API integration. Go ahead. If you
elaborate. It's possible to send offline conversions to your server GTM and to Facebook ads. If that's the question, that's definitely possible. But I'm not getting the Piwik PRO part of it.
Yeah, because Piwik PRO's got the direct integration with Google Ads, but it doesn't have a direct integration with Facebook ads. So in that regard, you would not be able to do that, but you could definitely somehow, I'm pretty sure there's a way to send the conversions from Piwik PRO to Facebook ads. And I can think from the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure, but definitely with CDP, I've been playing a little lately with the Facebook, and you can definitely send some data to Facebook. So I'm not sure if I've answered your question, but if I haven't, feel free to get in touch with me. There's an email on the slide, and perhaps I'll check it with some of our implementation specialists that might be more versed in that kind of integrations. So please, and my apologies if I haven't answered your question. But let's move on to another one. Do we have any more questions? Let me check. Would you be able to provide a demo for server-side tagging on a demo account? Yes. So you could create a Piwik PRO demo account and then demo account on TAGGRS. And I guess you could test it easily. And we've got community forum. The link is right next to my image, where you can sort of get some help on anything Piwik PRO related. And I guess it's the same for TAGGRS.
Yes, you can create a free account, and yeah, you can use it up to 10,000 requests. Yeah, so you can test it out.
Now, I guess another one is to Lowie or Ate. I'm not sure which one would like to answer that, but how long can we extend a cookie life if the cookie is being set via your own server?
Depends on. Oh, go on.
Yeah, sorry, Lowie. Yeah, so yeah, it depends per platform. Yeah, with server-side tagging, you can extend the cookie lifetime, but that is per platform that can be different. So for example, Facebook, it can be 30. Yeah, but There is a list which you can find also on our website where we stated per platform on how long you can extend a cookie lifetime. Does that fill everything, Lowie, or am I missing something?
I wanted to say it also depends a bit on the browser you use. For example, on Chrome, it's easier to extend them than on, for example, Safari. On Safari, you have to add I cannot recall the name, a CDN. You have to add a CDN as well in order to extend it, and then you can extend it up to 7 days, I guess, for Safari. So it depends on the browser you use as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's written out on TAGGRS blogs, as Ate said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at any point, if you feel like you're missing something with your questions, I guess webinar is not good for back and forward conversation, but you've got our details. Feel free to reach out to any of us, and even if you send the message to the wrong person, we'll get together and we'll chime in and try to answer it together. I've got another one. Some customers of us use Piwik PRO because they don't want to use Google product. Is it possible to use server-side tracking without Google Tag Manager? If not, are there any plans to make server-side tracking possible with Piwik PRO Tag Manager? Now, I guess at the moment, probably not, but I guess is it possible on our end? I can say probably not, but what about the on your end? Do you offer any other options than server-side Google Tag Manager?
No, well, we always use Server Google Tag Manager, but if I remember it right, you had also a collaboration with Keurentjes. It's also a tag management platform, I believe, and yeah, you can use that integration, I think, as well. But I don't know, I'm not familiar with them, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I saw something on your website about it. So yeah, for the guy who states the question, I think.
With Keurentjes, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the data stored when you use server-side tracking?
Yeah, I can take this up me. I think what he means, yeah, when you use server-side tagging, the hosting provider acts as a conduit for the data flow towards the vendors. So this provider doesn't initially store this data. So, for example, TAGGRS itself does not store any data, but acts as a conduit for the data. So our servers only retain logs, and yeah, we use a global server network to ensure that data remains within regional boundaries, such as in the EU for our European customers. Yeah, I hope that's answer to your question.
Mm-hmm. Hi team, can you explain how TAGGRS counts the number of requests per plan? Every event counts like a request in your plans?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, as I said before, if you go to taggers.io and go to the pricing, we will have a pricing calculator based on based on your visitors. You can also choose if you're a web shop or a website, because web shops most of the time has more events, because when you're a web shop, you have a scroll, a few item, add to cart, and if you have a website such as a B2B, you most of the time have less requests. Yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, every event counts like a request. But yeah, but if I were you, I will just take a look at the yes, you can start for free and you can see how fast the request will count up.
Let me see if we have any questions. We have no more questions, so let's give another few seconds for the last questions. Maybe somebody is finishing typing that in. No more questions. Okay, in this case, thanks everyone for watching. Feel free to, there will be a recording that you'll be able to have access to. Feel free to, I don't know, take a last screenshot of the of that very last screen if you wish to get in touch with us, whether it's at Lowie, me, feel free to get in touch or connect with us on LinkedIn. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for staying till the end, and I hope you found it useful. And I'll speak to you next time on some other webinar. And thanks, Ade, thanks, Lowie, for joining today. It was a real pleasure, and I'm really happy that we partnered with you guys. So thanks.